Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marnise Nicole and I'm an acrylic painter, and today is kind of an update video. Painting updates, painting progress, painting plans. That's kind of what we're doing today. So let's go ahead and get started. Guys, it's been weird. I haven't been painting lately, and I know that always happens to the best of us. The thing about being a creative is sometimes you have like creative highs and they are great and you are producing, and then sometimes sometimes you have a few lows, and that's kinda where I am. I am cranking out ideas of things that I want to paint, but I have had no urgency to actually paint the things. Case in point, I have these two paintings here that have had no progress. I have not touched them. This one I believe I have not touched since beginning of March, and the painting of the men I haven't painted in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I haven't touched it. That is for a specific reason, which I won't get into, but this one in particular, there's no real reason. It's a collaboration. Actually, this painting, my sister drew this face, gave me this kind of inspiration for what the painting should be, and I have an idea in my head. I really want to go very ornate. I really want to have a lot of texture in the background and make a really cool outfit. Like, the outfit is really going to set the tone of the whole piece. It will be the focus, and I can't right now. Like, I can't pick up the paintbrush. And it's not because I don't have the idea in my head, and it's not because I don't want to paint. It's just not time to paint, you know? And so this is the perfect thing to share an artist diary about, because sometimes you can have ideas that you are really excited about, and you can have like color swabs in your head, and you can see the whole scene, and you can see the finished product, but that initial spark to go is still not there yet. And I'm not feeling like I'm getting into an art slump at all. I'm just kind of feeling like it's not time to paint. Like, I'm not in the mood to paint. And I know all artists, professional artists, hobbyists, every level, students, you will come across this feeling where the spark hasn't hit yet that makes you just want to grab the paintbrush and makes you just want to get up and go. And right now, I'm just getting kind of like word vomit all of my ideas out of my head into notebooks and kind of meditated on, and so many projects are like coming to mind, so many paintings that I need to start, but I ain't get there yet. I haven't gotten there yet. To my left, this painting right here is one layer of gesso and one layer of my favorite color in the world. This is fluorescent red by Liquitex. I've literally bought the same bottle of paint maybe 6 or 7 times. I wish there was a bigger size that I could buy of this, because it is just such a nice vivid red. As you can see here, it is just one layer of this red that I kind of put on very wet, and as you can see, it gave it a lot of texture. And this painting will eventually use this inspiration photo, which I got from TikTok. I saw this TikTok that this girl was doing of drinking mimosas, and I literally stopped and I was like, oh my God, I would love to paint you. And that's the comment I left for her, and she said, go ahead. I was like, for real? Can I paint you? And she was like, yes, go ahead. Just send me a picture of it when it's done. And I was like, I got you. And so this background, this little texturedness, will eventually be this painting with a little inspiration from this, which is a scene from a Paris cafe. And I feel like combining the two and making it its own thing. And I'm literally so excited. I already have a title for the painting. It's going to be called like Morning Mimosas or something like that. And the title is actually inspired by this piece, which is my piece called Second Sunday. And depending on how I feel when I actually sit down to paint, I may actually draw more inspiration from Second Sunday as far as using a palette knife on this piece. And I'm really excited about it. This is what I mean when I'm saying I'm having all of these creative plans, because Second Sunday is a piece that I did in 2016. It was one of my first pieces, and it was one of my favorite things to do at the time. 2016, 2017, all I wanted to do was pick up my palette knife and make like texture and make like so many like marks, like physical lifted marks that had shadows around them just because of the volume. And so looking at these two reference photos and knowing that I want to put some kind of flower in the piece during or next to the railing, I'm thinking to add that texture that I'm looking for in the buildings and in the background, I would go ahead and use my palette knife and add texture. And even though more I'm talking about it right now is giving me like this kind of palpable like feeling of completion for the piece. Like I can see it in my head, and I would play on the shadows and the real red skin tone that she has, that is just such a lovely shade of red. I really hope I can mix something like that, and just the red and strong like warm tones coming from her. I don't have a perfect color for the yellow, so I know I'm gonna have to mix some yellows and some reds and maybe some like oranges and hot pinks to kind of get that warm yellow tone. And so that is all like the things that I've been thinking of. Also, I do have these So Flat paints with this matte yellow, primary or permanent yellow, and then this one is Nathal pink. And so I'm thinking this is the perfect painting to use these two paints. And so already this painting that hasn't even really been started yet has so much plans to it. It has so much that I want to do with it. This painting, my sister and me, we collaborated on this painting, so it feels fun. I haven't done it yet, but I know what I want to do with that painting. And then I've been spending so much time thinking about my summer project. Now here's the thing. I'm a master's student and I am literally a semester away from graduating. Like, it's so close. I have literally one more class left. I'm thinking that this project that I've been thinking of for weeks and weeks now and been just planning in my head, that will be my next thing. So in the summer, after I've completed classes and can really just focus, I'm literally planning to do my own virtual art gallery based on my first ever series of paintings. Maybe not my first ever series of paintings. I started a series of paintings way back in 2016 that I never finished, and that was these paintings right here. They were all to do with being in a forest, and I loosely followed that theme with paintings like this. But that original project theme series of paintings, it was to do with fairy tales and forests. And so each painting had a poem that I wrote. One was Sleeping Beauty, one was a Robin Red, and they all had like different aspects of fairy tales. But I actually only ended up doing the two main paintings and then a bunch of forest paintings. Here's another one, and here's another one, kind of based around that. But it wasn't a finished series, and it wasn't one series. So now the new project in my head, I started with the idea thanks to a TikTok friend of mine. I will link her down below, her video below, and I'll just show you the original TikTok.
If you had all the resources you needed, what would you create?
If I had all of the resources, which include to me not only art supplies, but like, God, I just noticed my hair. My curly hair rejects ponytails. We're just going to ignore that. Anyway, that would include sleep, time, energy, like all of that to do the things. I would get a abandoned like museum or jazz club on the wall, have 100
different size, multiple canvases that all made one big canvases. And I would paint the canvases as massively big, kind of fantasy, but also like art like this that's like moments and small like magical things. And then I would turn all of the canvases to face the wall, and then for 365 days, a whole year, I would reveal one painting at a time, and every day would be like an event to go see the full picture.
And since that first TikTok, I've literally have not been able to stop thinking about like having a big project. You know what I mean? Like, I have not stopped. I am so narrowly focused on this idea for this project. So the idea would be to take really this big gallery, 100 paintings in a year, flipping them over. I love that concept, but it's not reasonable right now. So I was thinking to myself, well, how can I condense this to make it reasonable? And that is where I chose 8 to 10 paintings, right? And then instead of making the paintings really, really big, like this major project would be, where I had imagined every painting was over 36 by 36 at the bare minimum, so that the paintings could be big and make an impact. So many people have told me that, you know, when you get to like the Louvre or one of these major artists, all of those, or you get to one of these major museums, all of those paintings that you see on the wall and that you've seen in photos so many times, they're completely so different in person because of the scale and the details and the texture that you can see. So the dream 100 painting project, year-long project, I will definitely need a sponsor for, but also that would be comprised of very big paintings. And so to condense that, I'm thinking, okay, 8 paintings. 10 at the most, and they'll be smaller in size. Maybe the biggest one will be 18 by 24, and that will be the main painting. And then the rest of the series, we'll do an 8 by 10, 11 by 14, get the sizes, go around it. So then, okay, Marnise, leave it alone. You're not even going to think about it until June. Don't worry about it. Just go. Of course not. So then I'm like, okay, I have Procreate. I have digital painting skills. Let me just map out so I don't forget when it comes time to actually start the process, to start the painting. The theme is definitely opera, specifically Phantom of the Opera. And I want to capture the moment of a soprano opera singer's first opening night. And so I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about what I would feel like having my first opening number. And so, like, I'm a creative. I did choir, I played saxophone and violin and piano. And what if I had like the skill set? Like, maybe it wasn't art, but I could blow like Ariana. What would that first night feel like? And then, of course, I brought it to a place of familiarity with art and my, you know, childhood. And a book that I'm currently reading, actually I'll show the book. This art book right here is a big important art book, Now with Women. And it is an art book that goes through some of the great contemporary artists. Natalie Letty, which love her work. Ashley Longshore is featured in this book, and just so many other artists. And I love everything about this book. It goes into their personal work, but then it also talks about little projects and how you can incorporate and find inspiration. One of the prompts in here is take moments from your childhood and recreate them and make art based on those feelings, those major events that shaped your life. And a big part of my life growing up was culturally opera, musicals, like Broadway and the theater. I used to do backstage work, so any local school plays, I used to help build sets and project manage back there, you know, stage direct. I used to be in plays, like small ones. When we got to college, we were in plays. So things like that. The arts have always been a part of my life. And so doing this series on really opera and that soloist's first I could imagine it. Like, I could see those feelings, and I tried to capture it. Her backstage, trying to get ready, putting her makeup. The people who are, you know, the staff behind stage, making sure everything is going well, but also like seeing the performance, wanting to see it and how the audience is reacting. The actual orchestra, playing alongside and accompanying, you know, the people from the mezzanine or from the balconies and the box office seats, you know, experiencing that. The lady with the binoculars who's not even looking at the stage because she's being so nosy. Like, so many little small moments, and I love that idea. I love it. And so I've been thinking about it for weeks, and I've been thinking about the color palettes, how I would make the collection all feel like one collection. And then recently I just got a new book in the mail, me and books, and this book is called Elegance, and this is not the cover of this book that I have actually seen before, had before. I had the ebook of this book for years. My sister has a physical copy of it, and I've literally reread this book like 10 times, so I know this book well. But this cover is different, and I'm looking at the cover and I love how the photo is cropped. So now I'm thinking about what I've already sketched out and what I've already imagined in my head, and which of these pieces can be cropped so that it makes more of an impact, because I find this so impactful the way that this is being cropped. So now this is going to be a painting inspiration piece. Actually, this painting right here is very similar to this right here, and I don't know. Am I gonna crop this? Am I gonna do that? Thoughts, people, thoughts. And this is not to mention that there is one more painting that also I want to specifically do with acrylic inks, because there's a few new acrylic inks that I bought in February for my birthday book haul, which I'll link down below if you're just interested at all in seeing me spend a lot of money on art supplies. But I haven't used those inks yet at all, and they were such fun colors. And so this sketch right here that I did in Procreate, it's just a little forest scene, and specifically she is on a picnic date by herself because she's looking at her phone and she's getting a text right now that says something to the effect of, I'm not running late, I'ma just have to reschedule. So she's getting one of those, and so she's literally alone in the forest. Just kind of stood up, and I do a lot of forest pieces. My older work is all, as you saw, filled with like forest pieces, and so when I was doing the sketch digitally, it felt very familiar to me, but it didn't feel like something to be finalized in digital form. And so I am going to take that and do that specifically with acrylic inks, and kind of play around with this format that I haven't really done recently. I haven't really painted many things at all having to do with the forest or any of those forest themes that I was focused on before. Those themes used to be isolation and and forest and loneliness. And actually, was I lonely years ago? I'm trying to think of what my art reflected back then, but it basically reflected solitude and like sad. A lot of my pieces were sad. I didn't feel sad, but I need to analyze my work a little more, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, that's a lot of video and a lot of talking just to say that I'm not painting right now. I'm not actively painting, but I am actively being creative, and I'm very happy just thinking about projects that I will do. And there's going to be something. There's going to be something that happens that's just like an immediate, I have to stop what I'm doing and paint. So this has been an artist diary about my project plans and me not actively painting so I can project plan and have a ball doing it. I just want you guys to know that even though I'm not actively painting, I'm literally having the best time planning all the things that I'm going to paint. So I know that may be weird, but I've talked about this a lot, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. I will be here next week. Bye.